Hey, welcome back to another video. Today, we're breaking down 3 emails instead of sales letters that I usually do in this 100-day sales letter breakdown challenge. So it's gonna be a little bit different, but I hope you're gonna enjoy it. And you'll see how we have similar persuasive elements even in emails, just like we have with sales pages, Facebook ads, or other types of messaging elements which are there to sell something, okay? So if you're new to this whole thing, then definitely check out my entire video playlist of the proven sales letters that I've broken down before. There's 81 of them already, so it's definitely quite a treat if you're interested in copywriting, marketing, any of that stuff. Also, if you're new to the channel, then definitely subscribe because I'm releasing these videos daily, and that way you'll be the first to know when I release a new one. But this video, we have 3 amazing emails. The first one talks about something that it's a pretty niche type of thing, decluttering. Okay, so decluttering trainings. There's stuff like this. Then the second one is called Credit Escalator. This was written by Stanley. He's a great copywriter, especially specialized in emails. He's good at a lot of things, but emails is probably his signature specializations. And this basically sells a credit solution, like a credit score improvement service. And then the third email is going to be a really spicy one from Chris Orzechowski. He's also an email copywriter, and his style is really special. You'll see why when we get to this email, but his personality really comes across extremely strongly in this email, and it's a great example of why you should be honest, vulnerable, and showcase your personality in your emails, because you're in the relationship business with emails, okay? So usually within an email, you link people to a sales page, okay? So this kind of comes before a sales letter or a sales page. But in order to build up the correct emotional state that people should be in once they land on your sales page, it's your email's job, okay? So that's why it's important. And the more know, like, and trust you can establish in your emails, the better. So let's see what's happening in each of these emails. So let's start with the decluttering version first. So the subject line, which is basically the headline of the email, goes like this: the real reason most homes are messy. So it's intriguing, right? Especially I like this little period at the end. It makes it like a definitive statement. The real reason, it kind of hints at a secret, like most homes are messy, and there's a reason why homes are messy, and then there's a real reason why most homes are messy. It's pretty interesting. And then the from name is Sarah at Decluttering School. So this makes it easily identifiable. A cool thing about these little from lines is that they work in conjunction with the subject line. So it's not enough to just have a good subject line. You also have to have a good from line, because it makes your email instantly recognizable. It's very important. From line is basically responsible for a lot of these things, and I talk a lot about this in my Rainmaker Email Mastery program. I'm gonna leave a link below this video to it if you're interested, if you want to check it out. But these are great examples of amazing emails. So the email goes like this: life with kids is messy. That's just the way it is. It's normal to have your kitchen counter buried in papers. Filling your closet up with clothes is the American way. These are all things I used to believe without question, but I wasn't happy. So we start with 3 common pain points that are accepted as kind of like the reality by our target audience, right? These are things that most people in the target audience for this email, they believe this. And it's important to call them out, because that way it works really well with the real reason most homes are messy. It kind of sets that up really well. So then the next line basically acknowledges the myths. These are all myths. Like, most people believe them, but it turns out they're not true. And that's why I said the real reason has to do with something else. So after this, we get into a little discovery story section. And using stories is really important in basically any type of copywriting project, but they're also super important in emails because, as I said, emails, the medium of email is a very personal medium because you might be sending out emails to, I don't know, 1 million people at the same time, but people are reading those one at a time, right? And it really looks like a letter. Like, notice there's no fancy HTML coding here. There's no fancy graphics or images or flashy things like you see in most e-commerce emails that are terrible, by the way. Instead, it's just basically white background with black text. That's it. Because this is the thing that makes it personal. And if I'm going to read to you the discovery story, you'll immediately feel like you immediately discover why this is so personal. So let's see the story itself. It goes like this. But I wasn't happy. I used to spend hours sorting toys. I surfed Pinterest looking for ways to camouflage all that stuff and keep my house looking beautiful. I don't blame my family for the mess. All that stuff was just plain overwhelming. And then one day, everything changed. Notice how this is like the discovery story. I had the problem, and then one day something changed, and look at my life now. I went on a trip to visit my stepsister. She had a toddler too, but her house wasn't trashed. Notice the words used. Like, these are very casual words. It's the exact words that our target audience uses. This doesn't really try to use marketese language. No, it sounds just like an honest conversation, and that's what you want. This is good copy. But her house wasn't trashed. It turned out that she and her husband were minimalists. They kept only the things they needed. But their house wasn't cold and bare. It was warm, cozy, and full of life. The house was clean, and she didn't spend all that day getting it that way. I was instantly converted. I came home from that trip on a mission. So this is basically the little discovery story. What she discovered this new unique mechanism, which is minimalism, right? And then she immediately became a converted devotee of this type of lifestyle. So then we continue. I didn't need to color code all the files or have a perfectly paperless system. I had completely missed the solution to my frustrations. I didn't need to get more organized or work harder. I needed a simple system that would manage the stuff for me. So basically this part acts as the debunking to the false myths that most people are having. Most people think that you have to work harder, you have to organize things better, you have to have a perfectly paperless system in order to achieve this type of harmony and order in your house. But instead, we find out from this email that all you need is a simple system that manages stuff for you. Ever since that time, I've been unable to contain my passion for getting organized and decluttering. Decluttering and getting organized means freedom and hope and peace. Would you like to feel that hope as well? So this basically, this sentence just gives away the benefit, like it means freedom and hope and peace. Would you like to feel that hope as well? This is kind of an empowering question. And then she says, I'd love to show you the way. My course, Household Paperwork Made Easy, will help you finally clean up your paperwork for good. But you're running out of time. Your special discount expires tonight. Get all the details and save $100 here. And then we have a sign off, Sarah. So Sarah Muller, she wrote the email. I mean, it's not, I don't know, John Carlton level of stuff, but it's effective and it does things well. It starts with false beliefs. It starts with a personal story, a discovery story. Then it shifts to basically explaining a little bit why these beliefs are false. It teases some benefit. It has an empowering question. She starts acting like a guide. We have a promise. We don't have proof elements here. One of the things that could have made this email even better is to include a few testimonials here. So we have a promise, we don't have proof, and then we have urgency, and we have the call to action link. Very simple call to action link. That's it. It did its job really well, and this is a great example of how you should use stories in emails. Let's see the next one. This one, as I said, is about a credit solution, and the subject line says, how the credit escalator can boost your credit. So pretty interesting, right? We get a tease to the unique mechanism, credit escalator. This is basically a fascination. If you're not familiar with fascinations before, definitely check out my previous videos. I've done a bunch of videos. Each time I covered them, especially longer sales pages, we end up talking a lot about fascinations and how super important they are. But this is another area where you can use fascinations, right? Email subject lines. So I'm not going to read the entire email here. Maybe I'll do because it's good, okay? But I'm not going to read I'm going to read the last one as well. They're all good. So let's just get to it. So you know what may be the worst feeling in the world? So this email starts with a philosophical question, and it basically starts with an analogy, because you want to sell a credit repair solution, and it's something that people don't really want to think about, right? It's something boring. It's something typically of the sense. So most people, when they talk credit repair, they're like, yeah, I'll do it later. I mean, it's not that important. I know it's important, but it's not urgent, like I'm going to do it later. But because of this reason, this pitch actually starts with an analogy, a story of how when you have a rock in your shoe, you know, it kind of is there. You can feel it. It creates a problem, but it takes so low effort to get it out that you just stop eventually and you get out the rock and you start going forward. So this is kind of like the little interesting analogy that's going here. And then we have the next few paragraphs talk about the takeaways of this mini story. So basically, Stanley here says, what's amazing about this stone and shoe problem is that the stone is so small, yet causes so much discomfort. And all of us deal with it the same way, in the same 3-step process. Realize that there is a problem, there is a stone in my shoe and it hurts. Figure out how to best solve the problem. I should take off my shoe and get the stone out of it. Solve the problem, take off your shoe, and get that obnoxious rock out of it. So this is the 3-step process that most people do, right? And then we even get something like, no sane person would leave the stone in the shoe, and they wouldn't solve it any other way. So at this point, you might be wondering, okay, but what does this have to do with my credit? Well, this is the exact point where we get a segue to the credit part. Everything up until this point was just a story to get people's attention, to hook them a little bit, to start with something interesting so that there's a lesson to be learned from this. So the copy goes like this. Why? Because the stone in the shoe problem is an immediate short-term problem. We can feel the pain or discomfort, so we get rid of it. Why don't we do this with other problems we have? Because with the stone, the pain of the problem outweighs the efforts of solving the problem. It doesn't require willpower or good habits to get the stone out. However, with bigger problems like having a low credit score, there is a disconnect between the pain and the solution. It's not a stone in your shoe situation. You don't feel the pain of low credit right now, so you don't solve it. It's more of a low-level feeling of discomfort that you push to the back of your mind as something you'll fix tomorrow or when you have time, right? Everybody's been in these types of situations, pushing things away, and it's frustrating. But I love how Stanley basically tied this little shoe story to the credit problem, and it teaches people something useful, right? And we learned before that people don't want to read your ad. They don't care about your product or your solution. But they want to read stuff that's interesting to them, and sometimes that's an ad. So whenever you can make your advertisement itself interesting, either by using a good story or teaching them something cool or a combination of both, you basically get a lot of value from people. You give people a lot of value to people as well. And it keeps your readers' attention, and that's what you want, because the more copy they read, the more likely they are to convert. So after this point, we start reframing false beliefs. So you don't feel the pain, right now. You say, I'm busy. I can't afford it right now. It's just not the right time. This is what people usually say for these types of problems. And then basically the email starts shifting after talking about the problem a little bit more. It starts shifting into why you have to start right now. And it teases a new opportunity in a sense. It says you have to act now. You have to treat it like a stone in your shoe and start solving the problem today so that when the time comes that you need it, you actually can use it. And then the new opportunity lies in the fact that improving your score isn't even that difficult. It just takes some time and effort if you know what you're doing. So this teases the unique new opportunity that actually this can be easier than most people think, but the only way to make it easier is to know what you're doing. And then guess what this is going to segue into? Well, it talks about how easy it is. It talks about, that this is kind of just like an escalator, because once you step into it, it automatically takes you up. So it's a very interesting and easy idea to imagine, right? It's a nice so-called big idea. And then naturally we have the call to action, a benefit-driven call to action, which says, go here to improve your credit score today. So I like it because it's highlights how it basically contrasts it, because most people think that improving your credit is this huge chore, while apparently it seems like it's not, right? And if you use this credit escalator technique, which is the unique mechanism, then you can experience a lot of benefits without, overwhelming yourself. So then after the call to action, we have a little bit of future pacing. Stanley says, just imagine how amazing it'll feel to see your score improving week by week as you follow the simple step-by-step program. Pretty simple, right? Don't put off tomorrow's pain so that you can feel good today. Take the leap and take control of your financial life. So this is another call to action, which could have been made better by using another call to action link here. But it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty good. We have a little bit of urgency, but it's not aggressive at all. And notice, I get it. Stanley had a hard time selling this because people don't want to deal with their credit. Seriously, it's something that they always have to put off. So that's the reason why he had to come up with a nice story. And that's the reason why, people are always going to naturally gravitate towards instant gratification type of stuff. And if you want to sell them something that isn't instant gratification, you have to work harder. So that's why this email is a little bit longer, and it has to have good quality copy. Otherwise, it wouldn't really convert. But apparently, it probably converted pretty well. So let's see the third email from Chris Orzechowski. He's one of the best email copywriters at the moment, in my opinion. He works with e-commerce clients nowadays, but he started with info products, and he started in CopyChief, by the way, a community that I'm also part of. So the subject line, and he has a very, very strong personality. And if you like that I'm featuring these types of emails, definitely leave a like below this video, because it's going to increase the perception that this video is valuable, right? And the YouTube's algorithm is going to start recommending this to more and more people. But check out the subject line. I'm being strong-armed into shutting down my business. This is serious. Help. So we have a teaser, basically, which at this point you cannot really imagine whether this is true or not. Like, how could somebody strong-arm Chris when he was a wrestler, by the way, so he's a big guy, big muscular guy, and who would strong-arm him? And then why would he ask for help? So this definitely gets people's attention. And then it starts with the story. And I'm not going to actually spoiler it for you, but let's just see what it says. So the other day and notice as we go through this, it's very important. Notice how extremely conversational, extremely easy to read it is. And it's intentional. Good copy has to be like this, even if you're writing the PhD. Believe me, Chris is writing to some really smart people in marketing, business owners, copywriters, stuff like that. And notice how the email is super easy to read. The lines aren't really that long. It's conversational. It isn't it doesn't feel scripted at all. It seems natural. It seems like a friend is talking to you. And again, that's what you want, especially in an email, which is a very personal medium. So the other day, I took my Jeep to get an oil change. Well, at least that's what I set out to do. You'll never believe this, but when I pulled into the parking lot of the dealership, I noticed that something was up. So this is kind of a part that foreshadows a problem. And then we get into a conversation. I parked my car, walked into the service station, and told the guy behind the counter, "Hello, fine sir, I'm here to get an oil change." He sat there for a moment with a puzzled look on his face. After a brief pause, he replied, "Oh, I'm sorry. I guess nobody told you. Today is a value day. We're actually not going to accept your money. We're actually not selling anything at all." I stood there, not sure how to respond to this. What do you mean? I'm just trying to get my oil changed. Can I just please pay you and you do this for me? Nope, not today, sir. Like I said, we've got nothing to sell today, just pure value. In fact, now that you're here, please follow me to the conference room so I can show you a 45-minute documentary on the history of motor oil and how it's evolved over the years. I had about enough of this dumb fuckery. So this is a signature Chris Orzechowski style. He doesn't refrain from using foul language, but this is what we love in him. He's real. He's the real New Jersey guy, right? So let's continue. Look, dude, I started to say, I don't know what the fuck you guys are trying to do here, but I just need my oil changed. I have a problem. You have a solution. Are you going to take my money, or am I going to have to go elsewhere? This got his attention. So this is the punchline here. He shifted his stance, narrowed his eyes, and growled back at me. Now you listen to me, shithead. I don't know. Who do you think you are, coming into this dealership, thinking you can strongman us into selling you something? Today is a pure value day. We're only promoting good content. So if you don't like it, drive your Jeep on out of here and give your money to someone else. At this point, I grabbed my keys, got in my car, and I did just that. Now, and this is the big reveal that I think at this point, many readers are like, what? Is this serious? Like, did Chris just make this story up? Or like, was this real? Was there seriously someone so messed up who said something like this to a customer in America? And then there's a little bit of emotional arousal built around this as people are reading this. And then we get the reveal that this is actually a made-up story. So this is the twist. It confirms most readers' suspicion that this is a made-up story. And at this point, they're like, oh, wow, you totally fooled me there. But I always felt that something was off, but now I understand what's happening here. So this little confusion, it might seem like it's weak, but it's a super advanced copywriting technique when you create confusion so that people actually read more, because the more they read, the more likely they are to consume your content, because they want to find out, like, what is this whole thing about? Like, I don't understand it. Whenever you can create some type of confusion, this type of confusion, not the boring type of confusion, then they start paying attention. So the email continues. Well, recently, I've had a few people whine about how I'm selling in every one of my emails. Like this one rando who sent me the following email reply. Chris, I'm only a few in, but so far the newsletter has no content but pushing your courses. I can understand wanting to sell your wares, but most people seem to do it by demonstrating how they add value first. Does the email have content by itself? So finally, we get the reveal what this whole email is going to be about. And it's about teaching people a lesson. And the lesson is that if you do regular email marketing, everybody's teaching you that you should give content first and only sell later, which is fine, but a lot of people overdo this and they only include content, and they don't sell. And this is the same as if you had a problem, you were a problem-aware customer, maybe even solution-aware, you went into like a service and they wouldn't change your oil because today is only pure value day. Even though you were ready to buy, even though you were ready to pay them money, they rejected you. Well, that's what people are doing when they're only sending content emails and they're not giving people a chance to sell, because maybe, just maybe, that's the right time for them to buy. Maybe then is when they have a problem, right? So at this point, we got a little case study of basically Chris starts ranting and starts acting a little bit of passive aggressively a little bit, and everything here is just to add emotional power to the email here. Like, he's using this ironic passive aggressive type of language, which basically is polarizing for most people. It definitely is, but this is Chris's signature move. He is honest. He doesn't take shit from people, right? And if you don't like it, go unsubscribe. But if you do like it, it builds a lot of trust and honesty in him, right? And that's why his customers are super dedicated. The same thing with another amazing email marketer, Ben Settle, who sends daily emails, and he always mocking some internet marketing gurus or people like that, or low product junkies. He has a lot of these expressions here. Again, his style is very, very polarizing, but the people who stick with him, they're going to be super high quality customers because they value his honesty and value his no nonsense attitude. So after this point, we have a little bit of reason why, like why Chris is actually selling in his emails. This is there to basically give people value. So the email goes like this. Here's the thing that unsuccessful marketers like this guy don't understand. I am going to sell something in every email I send. Want to know why? Because when I make a sale, I help someone. When someone takes one of my courses, they learn how to write better emails so they can make more money in their business and provide a better life for their family. And then we have some contextualization because, sure, making money is good, but it's a little bit ethereal for most people. So we get contextualization like they can generate more cash flow in their business and hire more people, creating more jobs in the community. Oh, okay, now I see why it's worth it to make more money. They can save for their kids' college fund and treat their significant other who put up with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship as the business was being built. Again, okay, now it makes sense why it's a good idea to make more money. So this contextualization, really powerful. So then we have another rant, which again is polarizing, but it creates likability. The rant goes on, and then we have another marketing lesson, which is basically value. So the most successful companies in the world sell something every single day unapologetically. You can stick your fingers in your ears and close your eyes and pretend you didn't just hear that, but it's not going to change the fact that it's true. If all your products actually help people, then it's your duty to do your damnedest to get them into your customers' hands. Also, don't listen to the wankers who complain about the numbers of times you're selling in your emails. They're not responsible for your bottom line. They're not the ones who's got to pay your bills or support your family and rent. So this is kind of like the teaching section, which transitions really nicely to the call to action that's coming up. So he says, and rent. Now, here's the pitch. If you're not already a subscriber, then subscribe to my Make It Rain monthly print newsletter because it's awesome and it'll help you sell. No wankers allowed. So I like this little honest call to action. Again, this is Chris's style. Like, he's direct, okay? He doesn't mess around with these types of things. And I think it really works. For the right audience, it really works. But this is the type of audience that he wants on his email list, okay? So we have the call to action and we have the sign up because he has this awesome monthly print newsletter when it comes to email marketing. So yeah, hope you enjoyed these emails. They're a little bit different because I've been breaking down sales letters before, but leave a comment below. Let me know if you want me to break down more emails eventually because I also started out as an email copywriter, and nowadays I'm more interested in sales pages, but email is still one of the best mediums for copywriting. If you're getting started even later, every single business needs emails. Most businesses suck with their emails, to be honest, and if you start sending emails like these, you're going to see a massive boost in your sales. And it's way easier to create an email like this than a long form sales page, obviously. So if you enjoyed this, definitely like the video, leave a comment if you want me to cover more of these email videos, and also if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because that way you'll be the first to know when I release the next video. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.